Well, thanks for logging on to WANE.com. As usual, we're joined by our resident high school football knowledge guy from the News-Sentinel, Mr. Tom Davis. And we're talking football because Week 1 is in the books. Big storylines coming out of Week 1. Obviously, Bishop Luers, I mean, they just look dominating over Snyder. I mean, what do you take away from that game?
Well, they were explosive offensively, but you also have to give them credit defensively. They were up 34-0 on Snyder, the 10th-ranked team in 5A. Snyder. I mean, it was incredible what they did to them, but that just goes to show you how good Luers is. Luers upsetting Snyder was one of the few games that I picked last week correctly. You're the one that ran roughshod over everybody in the picks, but I did pick the Knights because I thought they would be explosive offensively. They had 5 different guys that could run the ball for scores. Quyan Maddox only ran the ball one time, but the one time he did it was for a 30-yard touchdown. James Kanapke, if you want efficiency at quarterback, 13 of 16, that's pretty darn good. And Coach Matt Lindsay, who is one of the best coaches in the area, obviously, had those players lining up in a myriad of formations, attacking so many different ways. I think in the first 10 plays, Kenny Mullen, their senior star, I'll call him an athlete because he does everything for him. He caught the pass, he ran the ball, he played quarterback out of the Wildcat where he threw and he also handed off, and he was on special teams. So Bishop Luers can attack you so many different ways, it's almost nearly impossible to stop them, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the SAC.
Yeah, I think what comes out of that, from my perspective, is not only do they send a message to the SAC, but they really send a message to the state that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in 2A.
Oh,
sure.
I feel sorry for the 2A teams around the state because it's going to be nearly impossible to upset them in the tournament. Now, granted, injuries can happen, turnovers, things like, everybody thought they were going to just kill Monrovia in the state championship game last year, but Monrovia battled them tough. So you never really know until you actually get to the game, but it certainly looks on paper like Bishop Luers is going to be really, really indefensible this year.
Yeah, we haven't crowned them state champions yet.
Not yet. Haven't even gotten to week 2 yet.
A lot of games left to be played, but definitely a message sent in the first week. In the NHC, Homestead against Huntington North. I mean, really a tale of two halves. It was 30-27, Huntington North at the half, and then the Spartans come out and shut them out 28-0 in the second half, and they really pulled it together. Well,
Homestead has dominated this series as of late. I think it's 14 of the last 15 they've won. And when I heard that halftime score, the 30-20, I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be an upset. But then Homestead really took off. Cody Appenzeller was dominant. I think he had 5 touchdowns and nearly I think he had 196 yards. And the amazing thing is they did that to Huntington North, and Zach Terrell really at quarterback had pedestrian numbers. I don't even think he threw for 100 yards, and he had a couple of picks. So Zach Terrell wasn't the Zach Terrell that we all know and love, and they still did that to Huntington North. So that bodes well for Homestead as they go on to Warsaw this week.
Yeah, they definitely showed off their versatility because everybody does expect them to come out and pass the ball quite a bit.
Sure.
In the ACAC, Leo, I mean, everybody expects a lot out of the Lions this year, and they definitely showed why. They came out very strong against Norwell. Connor Kasser, a record-setting performance. Seems like they sent a message too.
Well, Norwell is the bigger school of those two, and they both won 8 games last year, so I really thought this was going to be a really tight battle down to the finish. It was tight right up until kickoff, and then Leo just took off. Connor Kasser, it was the Connor Kasser that everybody knows. He was dominant. I think he had 3 touchdowns, 144 yards, and like you said, he set the school rushing record very early, and Norwell just had no answer for them. They needed to pass the ball more than what they did because the running game wasn't effective, and so that's something that Norwell will have to work on, and much like Snyder, they'll have to look at the film, correct the mistakes, and move on. You got to put week 1 behind you when you get spanked like that. And just got to learn from your mistakes.
And there were definitely a couple of teams who put together really solid wins to start off the year. What comes to mind to me is Columbia City beating up on Warsaw. I mean, Randy Hudgens, he's got another year with his kids under his belt. Logan Rare back at quarterback, and it seems like they're really starting to put it together there in Columbia City.
Oh, absolutely. That was another series that was lopsided in Warsaw's favor. I think Warsaw had won 15 in a row over Columbia City, but Coach Huggins came from Pike High School. He's implemented that explosive spread offense. They're throwing the ball around like crazy. And when you have a guy like Logan Rare, and if he can stay healthy this year, he's got good good targets in Thomas De La Cruz and Connor Slavich and Stephen Farr, and they were just dominant. And they sent a message by upsetting Warsaw in the manner that they did. And we'll see if they can carry that on against an unbeaten Whitco team next week.